man, I am just weirded out this morning. Oh, there's a beautiful sunset or sunrise happening over here on this TV. It's like, and you keep seeing beautiful ones out in nature, but it's the chemicals, it's weird stuff going on out there. So I don't know. It's so crazy too. It's like I keep sharing videos now of the silence that's outside. Even today, I got up to a rainstorm, so everything was just sopping wet. And as the sun comes up, typically, that is the perfect time. The birds are just down there, like the ground is wet. They can just be pulling those worms out right and left. It's usually a very active time. There's nothing. And the showed video, you can hear. You can hear a little bird just way out there in the distance, one over here. But, before I left on my trip, it was just songbirds everywhere. It was beautiful. And squirrels playing. And then came back, and it was eerily silent. You could feel the death in the air. Everywhere around me, you can see smoke. You can't smell smoke, but you can see it. My throat's killing me. I know it's the gassing of the humanity, gassing of all that is natural. So you can see it. It's crazy. Like, I'm sure you can see right out there, like the smoke. People just, well, it's climate change, I guess. So that's what's going on. I just saw this guy. I just found him this morning. Another red-haired guy. Funny enough, he's not nerdy white guy. I can't remember this guy's name, but he's a whistleblower. It seems to me he is. Please don't knock my thing over. He claims that he was born into the mafia of the LDS, so the Latter-day Saints, and he goes through, he's naming names. He is, oh my God, the stuff he's saying. He said they've already tried to kill him 5 times, that he's come back. He explained leaving his body the same way I did. When you go out, you don't feel any different. You feel exactly the same. Nothing feels different. That's how, I know you don't need your brain, you don't need your body, you don't need any of that. Consciousness doesn't need this avatar, this projection. It's so crazy too, because I'm seeing so many more people now keep sharing things like they're just dumbfounded, like this is a simulation, and they're going and finding it in science books and everything where scientists have said we believe that we're living in a simulation and stuff. So people are just like, what is going on? But that's how real all this feels. That people, but how would we know what real feels like? Really, this is what real feels like, because we believe we're real. But it's just, we're a movie. Like, as a movie playing, think it's real as it plays, because that's what it is. And it's just trippy, because we as souls come into all these different movies to play a part. And I keep seeing so many people talking about Jesus and Lucifer are the same, and trying to figure this out. All these religious people, and people trying to figure it out, like, what's going on. I've seen religious people now, like, you don't go to the middleman, you got to go inside, you got to find the internal guidance, because we're being misled by this external. So people are seeing into that. But the thing about to me, because it is, both are inside of you, both are the light and dark. You are that yin and yang. Everything is inside of you. You have both. Just like that old Indian folklore or whatever, that the wolf inside of you, there's the dark side and the light side, but it's whichever you feed is what you will give life to. So everybody has that God or Lucifer or whatever, Jesus, Lucifer, the Holy Spirit and the dark nature. We all have both of those inside of us. And it does depend on what you feed. If you feed the dark, then you will have a lot of darkness. If you feed the light, either way, you get out of balance, because it's all in that balance. You have the light and the dark. There is a purpose to the dark. There is a purpose to the light. There's a purpose to all things. And it is about finding that balance so that you're not too much of one thing, because either thing becomes out of balance. If you're just trying to practice the light, then you will find yourself out of balance, because you can't just give and give and give and give and give. You have to take to also be in balance. So there has to be a give and a take. There has to be a balance in nature for it to be at its most optimal sense of being. And I've seen where these people, now they keep trying to talk about talk about it in a different kind of way or something. And, like they're kind of confused about the, Lucifer being who they've been worshiping. But really, when you look at it, it is about what is the energy that this being is putting out. And when the energy is about division and control and bullying and stuff, then yeah, that's not of the light, that's of the dark. And you have to pull that into balance. And there's all these people trying to understand or figure out, like, what does this all mean then? And like I've heard where people like we've heard for a long time about Earth is a school. Earth is a place that you come to learn about yourself. And you come, you put on this blindfold to come in here because of the challenge of who are you going to follow? What are you going to follow? Whose energy are you going to carry? Because when you don't know, you have to be able to recognize that. I just saw this thing. It was like this guy, and he was telling like this folklore thing. Like, I keep hearing this message over and over and over. And it was something about God wanted to give us something, but he couldn't give it to us readily. He had to hide it. We had to find it. And so this story is like, well, hide it in the sand. No, they could dig up the sand and they could find it. Hide it here. They could dig up this and could find it. Then it ends up with hide it inside of them. So they have to look inside to find the truth. And that's the real thing. You have to go inside to find the truth. All these people who are being misled by something external, but that's what I've been talking about for months. Like, they don't recognize that the energy that they are giving life to. And so these people who talk about like this Earth school and coming here, like I just heard the one guy who is this whistleblower to the LDS, and oh my gosh, the stuff he is saying is crazy. Like, he's seen his dad kill a bunch of people. He was third generation. His grandpa started it in the 30s with the first generation. He goes through, tells like, Google this person, and this murder and that murder. It's all my family. They're all involved. When he was 17, they took him down to meet El Chapo, and he has been. And this is where people have come in to change their ancestry. So he came in not to play the same part. He came in to witness, to see, to turn it the other direction. And he even called to get El Chapo caught. And he said that they went and they caught him. But when they caught him, they took him to another place and let him out. So it's all a part of this thing. He said if his family was taken down, the drug thing would stop in America. He said Hillary's involved, all sorts of stuff this guy was saying. And, a lot of people in his comments, they just treat him like he's crazy. That's how they always get around this. Because anybody who comes in and starts telling us the truth, it sounds so crazy that people start going, okay, crazy person, and won't listen. I listen to everybody. That doesn't mean like I know for sure it's a fact. Just like that one woman who's putting out like this person died, that person died, and it's people who are still alive, But this guy is talking. I can find his name or his information if anybody's interested, but anyways, he's talking all about the Church of the Latter-day Saints and their involvement with the cartel and the drugs and the CIA, and they're all, it's all a big web of gangsters and mafia, and it's all about, he was talking about they bring in these different components to these drugs, and then the families go and take them and put them together and create the drugs, and then the drugs go out into the market and stuff. Like, I don't know, his stuff, I listened to a bunch of his stuff and it sounds very legit. What's crazy is that he's still alive, but he seems kind of like he's homeless and on the run or something. He's on the run from his own family. He did this videotape. This is what really caught my eye. He's in a parking lot and he's videotaping from his car to this man walking out and getting in the van. And the man looks over at him and stuff. And he's like, that's my dad, that's him. And he's killed. He starts going through all this stuff and saying he is a criminal. He's tried to kill me. I've gone to the police, but the police in this city, I don't remember what city he's talking about, but the police, the judges, and everybody is all involved. Well, we know that stuff's all true. That's how they keep it going. But, you know, him, if his stuff is all accurate, it would be his soul is coming in to change it, to go the other direction, to expose the truth. And, you know, all of the people who have been playing those parts are not going to be in the next part. Like, he would be in the next part of the changing of ages, but they won't. See how he would be changing what they've been doing for so long. He's changing it, and he's not even just changing it by not dealing drugs with them. He's also exposing the truth. So he's changing his ancestral line energetically. And that is what is important. A lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are here for that. It's changing energetically so that that lineage can move forward, because the people who are involved won't. And so I've heard these people talking about, you know, the Earth School and stuff. And it was something he was saying too, because he died and came back, and he talks about his NDE. And he said he went to the sun. He said everybody's on the sun. The sun is, he said that the sun is heaven and a black hole is hell. Well, I think low vibration is what we consider hell. This is hell. Nobody gets bound to hell. No cell just is like, oh, you didn't do good enough, you're bound to hell. No, you come in to play different parts. You come in for these different experiences. And some souls play the bad, but this isn't just weeding out the good from the bad. That's not what this school is about. It's about the challenge to yourself. What do you come in? What energy do you feed? You know, I keep saying, it's like people don't recognize that they are feeding this dark energy, but it's like they don't question themselves. You have to ask the questions to yourself. Like, what does this mean? What does that mean? Why am I doing this? Is this hurting people or is this good for people? And so it is for your soul. Like, you come into this school and the challenges are there. So can your soul recognize what is good amongst all of the bad? Like, can it find its truth mixed in with the bad? Can it figure out who and what it is? What role does it play when it's surrounded by evil? What role does it play? And you know what's crazy too? There's so much people are lately talking about Epstein and stuff. So there's so many people talking about this trial, about celebrities. Like, people are getting so annoyed because these celebrities are going on TikTok now and trying to, like, you know, like TikTok became something where people, well, I mean, it's kind of a divide still. Like, you still, I still see videos pop up of these, this is a girl, like there's this young girl, and she's an attractive girl, and but it's all she wants to do is make it about what she looks like. And she does these videos of like showing herself with no makeup and then showing herself fixed, like boom, boom, like, oh, look at me. And then she'll do it with friends too, like, oh, look, we just look regular, and now boom, look at us, we're hot. And it's like, okay, you know, I don't know, but like one that popped up today, and she has this like short t-shirt on with her butt hanging out, and she just starts shaking her butt and dancing, and then turning around and dancing. It's like, I don't know. Like, where is your value of self? Is that the highest value you hold for yourself? Is, hey, look at my ass. Shake it, baby. It's just devaluing self. And these people just keep doing it and doing it. Like, hey, everybody play along. I have fucking seen people ask people, come in and rate what I look like. Tell, and stuff like that. It's like, it's variable, and besides the fact that it's mostly bots that come in and say rude shit. So why the hell would you ask these people to, evaluate you? So you still have that sense of group, but there's a huge group of people who are speaking their truth, putting information out there. I just saw a sad fucking thing about a guy. He was a bodybuilder. This girl was sharing his story and his pictures. And he's a bodybuilder, huge guy, giant. And every picture, of course, he's in like a G-string or a tiny little swimsuit. Like, he's one of those bodybuilder guys who's always showing his body, like, hell yeah. And then he wanted to travel. So he did it because he wanted to go and start, travel. Like, people thought, oh, well, if I just do this, I can get back to life. No, it was never about that. And so he did it, and within 2 weeks was super, super sick, going to the hospital, going to the doctor, asking for tests and stuff, and they kept giving him the runaround because that's what Western medicine does. It's not about that. It's the lab experiments. It's about medicine. It's not about what people think. And so he was going to him, and they were like, oh, no, we can't do this. Oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, no. And he kept getting pancreatitis over and over. And then his doctor said, well, you need to do a number 2. That's what you got to do. Super, super sick within, he went camping with his wife, and he tried to, turn the crank to put their camper up, or however you level it or whatever. He couldn't do it. He was too weak. And so anyways, then she showed pictures of now, because now he has a stage 4 cancer of the duodenum, which happened over a couple of months. It just went boom. It was pancreatitis, and then, it was that. And he is so freaking skinny. He even lost 40 pounds in the hospital, but oh my God, he looks like skin and bones. He looks like a little old man. That's what they do. They're doing it on hyperspeed right now, but they do it over time. That is what's going on. That's why when you go around these older people, why some look so decrepit, so old, walking around with all canes and just sickly, out of shape, way overweight. Just, it is what they're feeding. It is feeding the beast inside. It's not feeding the angel inside. Just like when I was a kid, and I said, I heard him talking, and I knew that it was someone talking. No matter what people think, you can tell if there's somebody different talking to you, because you start answering back, you start talking to them, and you get answers. It becomes a conversation, and then you can start to recognize when they're talking to you because you've listened to them for so many years. But so, a lot of people have not been listening. A lot of people have not been, they've been just feeding the beast and not listening to the voices inside of them. And so, there's a lot of people who are going to be super sick and have to face that, and I'm definitely not going to shame them or judge them. I did the same thing. I played the Western medicine. I had to learn the hard way, very hard way. Like, every day I have a reminder that, like, I can get over my brain injury. I've come to just accept the things of, like, not remembering what happened the day before, not remembering what I've talked about, not, So many people are like, oh, you remember this, remember that? Even my brother the other day, I was telling him something about one of my daughters. He couldn't remember who she was. And I'd go through and he's like, who is that? Who is that? And she's come to his house. She's gone on trips with him and stuff, and he couldn't remember. And, you know, that's what it's like when you just can't remember, and people will tell you things, and it's going to be frustrating. I'm just used to that part now. The eyes thing, that is the part that gets me, you know, that part of a daily reminder of having my vision interfered with, but knowing that it's for a bigger purpose. Like, I know there's a point, there's a reason behind it. And but anyways, the people who feed that is like feeding the ego, you know, like, I gotta fit in, I gotta do what other people are doing, I gotta be like everybody else. And so that darkness is a part of the ego. It's a part of like keeping it out of balance. But it is the challenge to come in and to recognize, you know, what is good or bad, what is the part that you are playing here. And no matter what, you're gonna play your part. The whole thing to me is so much about, you're gonna come in, you're gonna play your part, and it's all destined. It is like, all you got to do is think about it. Like, everything is contracted. So how could there be contracts if everything was just up in the air? Like, you just have to be logical. Well, if there's contracts, everything is contracted with your soulmates and, you know, your soul tribe and stuff to come in and experience the reality, then you are, it's all set. It's already set up. The storyline is set up. The scripts are written. So when you start going through the experience, where people are born into the experience and they start trying to, you know, create the life that they think that they're here to live, the one that they want to create. And they don't realize that they are here just to play this part. And so people will start fighting against all of nature, all of the natural occurrence of energy, so that they can try and control it. But really all it does is create fear, it creates frustration, it creates confusion. Because why can't I get this? You know, if I'm doing everything right and I want this, why can't I get this? Why isn't it working for me? But if it's not supposed to work for you, it's not going to work for you. It doesn't matter. And then that is part of what you're here to learn. Like, you're always learning stuff. You're always learning in everything that goes on. Even if you don't realize that there's a lesson or that you're learning anything, you're always learning stuff. And so in that, you know, to me, it's important to recognize like what is good and bad, because you are putting energy into something. Like, the people who are putting all of this energy into religion right now, and they're bullying other people, telling them that they don't know anything and they better get right with Jesus and all of this stuff, that are just going in and attacking people, then they haven't recognized that they're bullies, right? So they don't realize they're pushing this darker agenda of division and you know, bullying people. So, but see, they're gonna learn it. And it was all about learning it. And it's all about the timing and stuff. They're going to learn it. It's being shown to them. They will see. So there is no mistakes. It doesn't matter, you know, if you think like, well, like in the first part of my life, when I was trying to make things go the way I thought that they were supposed to go. I thought I was supposed to get married. I thought I was supposed to have kids. I thought I was supposed to work on having a house and a stable home and having my house paid off so I could have a nice retirement. And I thought all of those were, you know, what we were supposed to do. And so I was actively working towards those goals. And then when the goals aren't working and you keep losing this and losing that and nothing's working right, and it's very frustrating. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Why is it working for someone else? But then I had to learn, well, that's not what you're here for. So of course it's not going to work. You're here for something different. And when you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, it will feel like a flow. It will feel like you're not working against the system, that you're in flow. But that is, you have to, it is so much about this stuff in your mind. And it's not tricking your mind, although it does at times feel like you're tricking your mind by when even things don't seem to make sense, that you keep telling yourself, like, this is good, this is all happening for the best, and, all of those positive things. Like, keep yourself headed on that positive timeline, because there is something to the timeline that you put yourself on by what you're focusing on, what you're trying to learn at the time. And I think you can change timelines all the time. You can change timelines depending on what you focus on, where you're putting your energy. You start going in something that's for your best, but then you start having doubt, being like, well, I don't really deserve it, I'm not a good person, blah, 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 whatever it is that you start telling yourself. Then you can flip yourself back into a timeline of learning those lessons so that you understand you deserve whatever you want. You are deserving of everything that you desire, but you're here to learn certain lessons, and those lessons are going to be what's coming for you, and they're going to come naturally. So when you just relax and you just go with the flow, and you trust this movie, you trust you trust the outcomes, that it's for your best, and you're learning, you will. Like, people just have this idea, like, I'm supposed to succeed, I'm supposed to have this, I'm supposed to have that, I need to get this, I need to get that. And that is not a part of your script. It's not a part of what you came to experience. Maybe that's what you experienced in the past life, and it felt natural to come in and start trying to work on the same kind of things. There's a lot to incarnating and reincarnation, and your soul going from life to life, and what you carry, and what your DNA carries, and the ancestry that you're born into, and the star systems that you come from. Like, it's all a part of this solar system. It's all part of the same body, of the heavenly body, the same system that we are all a part of. This system, though, that we came into, I mean, you can see how dramatic it really is to learn, where do you get your energy from? What is your discernment? What are you giving power to? And that's going to be the thing when everything flips, is there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be so confused because there's so many people who turn their power over to the government, turn their power over to the pharmaceuticals, turn their power over to religion, turn their power over to government. And all of those blocks of this existence are all crumbling, so they can leave you standing there like, well, what does it all mean? Who am I without all of this? And that's when you have to go inside. Like, I really think there's a lot of people, like, I wonder how many people really even realize, like, when a ship sinks, like, if you think about the Titanic sinking, when it gets to a certain point, there's a suction that happens that will pull everything down with it. So right as it starts to go underwater, a suction happens that pulls it down, and pulls everything from a long ways down with it, depending on the size of what's sinking and the size of the things around. But all of the people who are holding on to this ship for dear life, like, wow, we need the government, what would we do without them? I'm just disgusted by the government and how people are just still willing to just keep going out and filling in those little things. I've got hopes. It's like, dude, this has been a scam since the beginning. They've always been placing the people. This isn't just new. This didn't just happen. This is exposing the truth. This is showing us the truth. But people keep wanting to, like, well, we can fix this, we can fix that, we can, it's like everything it's showing you is that you don't matter. They don't care about you. This is just the world that they created so that they could control your energy and siphon off of it, and so that they could live the life they wanted. And it's all going to be such a dramatic change. It's just as weird how people just hold on to the past, hold on to what's familiar, hold on to something that's even been hurting them. Just like in a abusive relationship, when, you know, women won't leave, it takes like 7 times, I've heard, and it took me a lot of times, like, to leave. You know, you keep going back to what's familiar, you keep going back to what's familiar, and that is, you know, what we have happening. People just keep going back. You know, they really can't wrap their heads around what everything means, what's going down, what the system is, what it's there to do. And I mean, legitimately, it has just been a period of time for us to come in and incarnate. And you can see, like I've talked about it a million times, the horrible things that go on here. I have seen so many horrible stories of, you know, people just screwing each other over so hard, just horrible, horrible stuff. You know, and a lot of stuff is like these soul cycles closing out, you know. So, you know, is this their last time of screwing each other over and murdering each other and all this shit that keeps going on? It is, but that is why we've come in to these low vibration places, is because we know that we do have discernment. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge when you come into here, because you have everything inside of you going against you, and you can't remember who you are. So and when you're being manipulated, like, there's a lot of challenges to overcome here. That is what a soul likes to do. A soul likes to understand itself. It likes to be challenged. It likes to understand, you know, like, let's take the worst case scenario and then I'm going to overcome. You know, that's what a soul likes to do. It wants to prove to itself whatever it is it's trying to prove to itself. And so these scenarios have all just been, you know, plays or scripts for movies. Like, everybody's lives have all just been scenarios to come in and play out, playing in the movie. But again, this is a cleaning the stage. This is wiping the stage clean to start for a new age, a new group of scripts that will come out for the souls to play and to experience. And besides the fact that life is going to be extended, because we're not going to be playing in these roles of time like we were, and in this in sickness, and all of those things are going to become obsolete. And so we're going to go into a time of healing and surrendering to the universe, understanding who and what we are, connecting to one another, connecting to nature, connecting to everything that is alive. So, you know, this is a great time to be moving out of that. And it is hard to wake up and see, you know. I know a lot of people are confused. They just think like, you know, well, we're seeing it so we can fix it. No, we're seeing it so we can heal. We're seeing it so we know the truth. We're seeing it because we have to let it go. And we're seeing it because it's not going to be anything in the new one. We have to be able to see, like, this is not what we want. We want something new. And that is, you know, so it's letting go of what was toxic. So many people are having to let go of toxic relationships, let go of all of the toxicity that is in your life. The food, I mean, for God's sakes, the air is toxic. The water's toxic. Like, I can't even tell you how many people now are so focused on the water. So many people focused on the poisoning. And, you know, it's all real. It's all really happening. And more people are seeing the truth. And, you know, it's a process. It's a process to go through it. You know, there's still so many people, more and more people every day, like, oh, something big's coming, and I can feel it, something big's coming, which I do think something big's coming, and I guess now Texas is being told, get a bag, be prepared. There's about to be a disaster here. So now we have, I think, it was someplace in California. I wanted to say Redding, but I don't remember if it was Redding. It was someplace in California, Texas, New York. Here, I mean, you can see the fumigation. Like, I've been pointing it out for days. You look out, you see smoke everywhere. I saw it when it started coming down the hill, and it's never left. And, you know, my throat is killing me. You can hear it right now. Can't hear birds. You don't hear birds. Squirrels. Like, and I know that they're preparing us for a fire. Like, I was like, well, is it more humane to just gas all of the birds and animals, kill them ahead of time? I don't know. I saw weird footage yesterday that somebody shared, and they were like, oh my God, what is going on? And first I was like, what are they looking at? But then you could see there was a bird on top of a pole, and it was like stuck. It was just had its wings out, like it couldn't move, like it was frozen, and it was turning and looking down and stuff, but it was like, it couldn't, I don't know. I don't know what these chemicals are doing. I don't even know, like, everything is glitching. Every time I do videos and stuff, I see glitches. When I do ones outside, I see glitches. Like, these colors and this stuff keeps glitching. I don't know. I think that we are close. I don't know how it's all going to go down. I do think that there's going to be a mass amount of people who are going to transition when it goes down. So, you know, is there going to be a bomb that's going to go off? I don't know. I do think it's going to be scary, whatever's going to happen, and it's going to be bad. It's not going to be some simple thing. It's going to be dramatic, but it's what's going to turn everything in the other direction. And you know what's crazy too is because, you know, there was a deadline on Joe. You know, Nancy's up there like, nothing's happening. Where's all the friggin' war, right? But remember that they said they weren't going to march on us as long as people had these weapons and stuff. They weren't going to do it. And because I've heard for like a year and a half that they're waiting to cross over here at the border in Canada. Like, I don't know. I don't hear Canadians saying anything about it. And I'm on a lot of Canadians things. And I don't know if that just ended up because I'm so close to Canada. The algorithm did it or what. I'm not sure. But there is... So there was a whole thing about the blackmail. You know, we know who was getting it. Like, it was all, there's been so much espionage, but certain groups have gotten it and they hold it over other people and then they blackmail. And it isn't just for money, it's about power. And so that was the reason they put Joe in, because he has got so much over him, along with his son. There's a whole bunch of information. And they said that everything is going to be released if you don't get everybody with these and take these away from everybody. Do those two things so that we can come in and take care of this, or you're going down. And there was only a window of time for that. And I kind of think that the window passed, that Nancy went over there to try and like, oh, wait a minute, we'll do whatever it takes, do whatever you want, you know. Maybe she's even over there because she don't want to be here when California's bombed. Who fucking knows? Like, but there's definitely something a lot more shady going on. It's not just like, oh, look, I'm going to go over here and we're going to show them we're not going to be bullied. That's not what's going on. No. There's always just shady shit, and they know that we're all watching now, but it's just more of these, gang lords that meet in the back room to make decisions over. I mean, we are all the surplus, you know. So, I don't know. I say something big is coming in. A lot of people are saying that it's gonna start. I've heard people saying it's gonna be starting this week. I don't know. You would think, like I've said, how many times? How long can they drag this out? There's no money in the Federal Reserve. Now we got Nancy over there. They were already saying they were gonna. That was gonna start a war. Like, you see why I say, how much of this is just about the luge? How much is it just about creating fear and anxiety? It's just, if they can't sell your energy, then they just plan on you going down and taking some more pills. And everything right now that is coming from them is got added chemicals in it. Like, it is dangerous to eat their food, to drink their water, to take anything from them. The corporations they're the sinking ship. And they're taking down the government, the medical, everything that has been intertwined in the beast. So, anyways, we'll just see how it keeps going. Like, I think, I do think that we're close. I mean, like, I don't see how they can keep it going. But I've been saying that for months. Like, I really don't see. It just shows us how much of an illusion this all is. It's all an illusion. This whole concept of money and us chasing it and stuff. And there's none there. And yet, it seems to just keep going and going and going. Like, I don't know. It's very trippy. This is the strangest thing. And I think there's going to be a lot of books written after this. A lot of stuff, I think, will be talked about in the near future. Won't be in the immediate future. Because in the immediate future, when shit goes crazy, it's going to be all-consuming of people's confusion and everything coming to the surface that they need to heal. So it's going to be very dramatic. But once we get past that, like, I think there's going to be probably so many people already writing books. And, once we get past that, our conversations are going to be a lot different about, this time. And what information that we will finally get access to so that we do know the truth, so we can have actual conversations and actually try and understand how it all happened and when it happened and everything, because that has to do with the creation of a world that it won't happen again. And it will happen again, but it's going to be, I don't know, a long, long time. Whatever the age is, 2,600 years or something like that, whatever the time of an age is. And you can look at those cycles. What is that one called? The Kalinda or the Kanuga cycle or whatever. And I did remember that right after I finished. It was parish. But there is something too with New York that have theirs divided up too in districts. I don't know. There's just lots of stuff. I find it interesting just to question things and to wonder and to look at things. And there's a lot of people too now talking about the map and the waterways changing. I guess Forbes put it in a magazine, the naval map. And so people were saying, well, that's weird because that means Gates bought all land that's going to be underwater, which I don't know. Those are the things that is hard to understand. Like, wouldn't he know? Shouldn't he know what's going to be underwater? Is there a reason to it? Because all of the land that has been bought up by these billionaires, when they get everything confiscated from them, all the land, and maybe that water thing isn't going to happen for a while. I don't know. But all of the land will go back to the people because it's confiscated from the rich and will go back to the people. So, I don't know. I didn't get out a map. This is just somebody saying, well, that's the same place Bill bought all his stuff. I don't know. That's one of the things is like we just have to wait and see. There's a lot of stuff we have to just wait and see and trust and have faith and know everything's going to be okay. This has to end. This system has to end. It's the end of it. It doesn't go on. So, I don't know what else to say about that, except for it has to. That's the only way it can go down. There is no saving it. No matter how much people want to save it, they'll be going down with the ship. So let go of it. Try and figure out what you need for yourself. Most people have realized, I don't need a job. I just need a place to grow food, a place to have shelter. I can feed myself just fine and just go live my life. And that's what we can all do. None of us need that. And there's I can't even believe you start following the people who do the weeds and stuff. We didn't even have to fucking grow food to begin with. Weeds grow everywhere and we can eat them and be fine. There is so much weeds that grow, so many different kinds of weeds and flowers that grow that we can eat that are really good for us. They give us all of the nutrition that we need. We didn't need to grow all this other stuff. It's all part of the psyop to life. So, we don't need to be worrying about things. We don't need to be worrying about food. I mean, one thing too, and somebody made a really good point the other day, is how many people spend all their time eating food because it tastes good instead of eating food that is good for them. And that is so true. Like, so many people, they just want to eat junk and it's killing them. But they have to recognize that for themselves, and all those people up there in the food bank lines, like, those people are the ones where it's like, are these people just going to go down with the ship? Like, they're dependent on the system. And this has to do with becoming independent, sovereign, taking care of yourself, connecting with the earth, connecting with nature, understanding everything you need is right there. And then you make the life that you want. You make the best out of your life. You decide what you want. You want to travel? Well, you could knit blankets and sell them and get the money. Everything's going to be so much different. But let go of everything that you've never known before and be ready for big change. Otherwise, you could be going down with the ship. I don't know. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.